Hey guys, what's up? It's Olivia. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all staying safe and healthy through all of this. I mean, there's been a surge on my YouTube channel the past like 3 weeks, so I feel like that's because people are turning to YouTube for entertainment, and hopefully that means you are staying home and social distancing and all of that good stuff. So last time you remember I did a Q&A video, and one of the comments actually asked me to react to a video which is 22 Disney park secrets you should know. This video has 417,000 views, so I felt like yes, that was definitely worthy to react to. Before I start this video, I would really appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up. Also in the comments below, let me know your favorite Disney outfit. So like in the animated movies or the live action movies, even like Disney cast member stuff if you want to. Also, just for the record, in case you're new to my channel, welcome, my name is Olivia. I did 2 Disney college programs, one in fall 2016 where I was a character performer, and then the summer alumni program in 2018 where I was a merchandise cast member in Disney's Animal Kingdom. So through my 2 roles, I have worked in all 4 parks and multiple resorts, a water park. Oh, my dog needs to go outside. Anyway, so all this stuff I am speaking from experience, but my experience does not equal everybody else's experience. My experience is not like all-encompassing or all-knowing. Just now like me, as a Disney fan, someone who's familiar with Disney, reacting to this video. So if you're ready, then grab your lemonade or a lemonade-flavored beverage, and let's get started.
Happiest place on earth. So if you're a fan of it's called the happiest place on earth. So if you're a fan of themed rides and Disney movies, then that motto will definitely ring true for you. Most of us grew up with Disney, but how much about their amusement parks do you really know? 22 Disney park secrets you should know. 2. The amazing flying Tinkerbell. Cast member hopefuls looking to be Tinkerbell don't necessarily have to be blonde, since Disney will provide an accurate wig. But what you do need, however, is some good upper body strength. If you've been to Magic Kingdom, you know that Tinkerbell flies out of Cinderella's castle during the Wishes Nighttime Spectacular. She needs to get pushed from a window with enough force so that she doesn't need to do a hand over hand to get to the other end. 21. The Tower of
Yeah, so they also do that now at Magic Kingdom for Happily Ever After. I wonder how old this video is. I didn't even look. I remember one time I was backstage at costuming at Magic Kingdom and entertainment costuming, and I saw like Tinkerbell's outfit for when she's flying over the castle at night is different than the outfit that she like meet and greets in, which like kind of seems obvious, but also you don't think about it until you like see it and you're like, whoa, that is what the performer is wearing when that happens. So anyway, there's more about that, but I don't know how much I should say, but yeah, the outfit at least is different. Yeah, fun.
Terror secrets. There's a few Twilight Zone Tower of Terror rides around the world, with one at each Disney park, though the one at Disneyland now houses the new Guardians of the Galaxy ride. The one at Disney World in Florida has an interesting hidden feature inside. Back when the Imagineers were working on the ride, they would play pranks on each other. One prank consisting of a jar of pickled sausage being left at the tower, but it got forgotten about and accidentally glued down. To this day, you can see the jar at the photo pickup area. 20.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna look for that next time I'm there. I've never heard of that before, but I have not worked Tower and I haven't known anyone to work Tower. So if you have worked Tower, let us know down below if that is a real thing or not. But yeah, I'm gonna look for that next time.
Mickey Mouses. It makes sense that there's a bunch of Mickey Mouse symbols all over the Disney parks, but did you know that there's some that are meant to be hidden? If you look in all the right places all over Disneyland, or you could just Google it, you'll find some Mickey Mouse outlines that were made to be blended into the buildings and environment. From things like a shadow on a ceiling, to a cactus, and even a mark on the sidewalk made to look like a small scrape, there's no telling where you'll find these hidden Mickey Mouse symbols. 19.
Yes, so if you go back and watch my Magic Kingdom vlog from this last summer when I went and visited, I think it's called like Trista Tells Us Dinosaur Fun Facts or something like that. Trista does point out several hidden Mickeys in the line for Dinosaur, and then in the gift shop where I worked right after Dinosaur, on the wall where you pick up your photos, there's a picture of like, I don't know if it's the Carnotaurus or what, I think it's a red dinosaur, and there is a hidden Mickey on him. But yes, hidden Mickeys are really fun to spot. They're all over the park, in every single park, in hotels, in rides, in just the land itself. So that's a really fun activity to do. There are even like books on like where to find the hidden Mickeys. So, fun thing to do when you go to the parks.
Pay attention to the ground. It seems that the planners behind the Disney parks knew exactly what they were doing. In order for guests to not trip or get disoriented, Disney had the sidewalk made in different colors so that the guests would subconsciously make their way through the nighttime. 18. VR.
So they would subconsciously make their way through the nighttime? Can someone explain to me what that means down below? Because I'm not understanding, but I mean, the floor is different colors.
Guess. This next one could either be construed as sweet or weird. You decide. If you ever went to watch the VR guest routine, then you might have noticed all the intricate artwork all over the iconic ballroom. Look closely, and you can see all the faces of all the little cherubs. Well, the Imagineers behind the ballroom had the cherubs made in the likeness of their children, or even from the baby pictures of themselves. 17.
Okay, that's fun. Again, I don't know like what they're talking about. I've seen that show once. But that's fun. I will look for that next time as well.
The Epcot monorail. Thanks to the natural environment of Florida, the monorail at Epcot has to go around the huge sphere, even though that's not what Disney originally wanted. Originally, it was supposed to be made into 2 stops, one at Future World and one at World Showcase. However, the Floridian sinkholes in Swampland would have made it difficult, so it's only 1 stop and you only need to buy 1 ticket. 16.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's smart anyway, because then there would have to be like a different monorail for, because right now it just takes you to the outside, so then you have to like get off and get into Epcot. There would have to be another one where it was like only inside Epcot and then taking you to the 2, I guess. Like I just feel like that'd be a pain with like ticketing and all of that. But that's interesting.
To those who made Disneyland possible. When you walk past the windows of the buildings on Main Street, one of the last things you're psyched about seeing is probably all the windows. But if you do pay attention to them, you'll notice the names of different people. All of these windows get dedicated to the many people who helped make Disneyland possible, referred to as the Window Honors. 15.
That is very, very true. They actually tell you that like in traditions, and so that one is a really cool fun fact, because you wouldn't notice if you were just going through Main Street. You would probably think that like, oh, those names are just kind of part of the ambiance, but they are actually named after people like in Walt's life, and then people who did bring Disneyland and Disney World together. So they have this on Main Street in Disneyland and Disney World, all down Main Street.
Team, a genius idea. You know how in school, you're not allowed to have gum because they don't want it getting everywhere? But kids don't listen anyway and stick their chewed pieces of gum under tables, seats, or left on the ground. Well, Disney doesn't even want to deal with that stuff, so they just don't even make it an option. There's lots of candy to be found at Disney parks, but they do not sell gum. This has been done to keep the park as clean as possible. You can, however, bring your own gum.
Yeah, I've heard that before, and I can't even remember if we sold gum or not, so I think it must be true. Yeah, I don't remember us selling gum. Anyway, I think we sell Tic Tacs. Do we? I don't know. I don't remember, but I've heard that a lot before. So yeah, like they said, you can totally take gum into the parks, so don't worry about that.
14. Release the smellitizers. Maybe you were just so mesmerized by the sights that you...
Okay, can someone confirm to me if this is true or not? I mean, okay, we'll get through the fact first, but...
barely even notice the smells, but they're there all right. At the Disney parks, different scents were emitted into different parts of the park, with each land or ride accompanied by its own unique smell. They used to make Main Street smell like vanilla and freshly baked cookies. The Pirates of the Caribbean ride would get a sea salt fragrance, while the Tower of Terror smells like honey. 13.
I know that like definitely different rides have scents. Like there's a specific, like Pirates of the Caribbean scent. There's a very specific like, Soarin' scent, or I don't know, just like different rides do have different scents. But can someone tell me if it's true that they then like pump that scent outside? Never heard of that. I could just see how like, Main Street and the confectionery and like Big Top Circus smells like a circus or like candy, because that is what they make, and so maybe the smell gets outside. Same with like Pirates and stuff. I feel like the smell just like gets outside. So if someone can confirm if they actually like pump it out into Main Street or pump it out into the rest of the park, let me know, because I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not.
The fake flags. walking out onto the Magic Kingdom's main street, park visitors get met with the sight of a line of American flags. But because of the government regulations on how you should raise the United States flag, these flags can't be real American flags if Disney wants to keep them up permanently. Each flag has some sort of defect, whether it be a missing star or a missing stripe. Plus, the poles of the flags act as lightning rods. 12.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to check on that one too, because I don't know. I never heard that one before.
Bigger than it seems. One of the main features of Disney parks like Tokyo Disneyland and Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World is Cinderella's castle. As the flagship landmark of these parks, it has to be the biggest building there, or at least look like it's the biggest. In order for the castle to look bigger than it is, park planners used forced perspective. The higher your eyes go up the building, the smaller the things such as windows and stones appear with each level, effectively making it look taller.
That is true, and I have a fun trivia question for you guys. Okay, how many bricks were used to make Cinderella's castle? The answer is 0. They used fiberglass to make Cinderella's castle. So there are actually no bricks, but they do have like the outline of bricks, you know, going up, and they do make it smaller to make it seem like it's bigger. I think that's brilliant. I think that's so much fun, and I think it's a really fun fact.
11. The Secret Cinderella Suite. Speaking of Cinderella's castle, did you know there's also a secret suite up there? Well, most of you might not know that since it wouldn't be too much of a secret then. But the real location has more to do with its location within the castle anyways. It also happens to be the only hotel room inside the actual park, which makes staying in that much more coveted. The rooms inside the castle were supposed to be exclusively for Walt Disney and his family. But for nearly 40 years, no one used the rooms until Disney renovated them in 2006. A clock inside also seems to be permanently read at 11:59 p.m. 10.
I think we've all seen enough TV shows where like the grand prize was like a trip in Cinderella's castle, or a trip, a stay inside, and they'll do that for like giveaways and stuff. So it's not something that you can pay for. It has to be like a gifted prize that you get. I've never heard that it was actually for Walt and his family. Could be true. I've never heard that before, but there is a suite there. I don't think that's really a secret though. Let me know though if you didn't know that.
And follow the sewage brick road. Those who visit Liberty Square in the Magic Kingdom might have made note of that more or less plain looking brown path that cuts through the middle of the square. The rest of the pavement appears a plain red so that it doesn't really distract you from anything else you might see. So what's up with the brown? Well, Disney had it put there to represent how sewage was dealt with during colonial America. 9. Count.
I've heard that before. I don't know if it's true or if it's like legend has it that this is why it is. Yeah, I've never. So when you're training to be a Disney cast member, one of your first days, I think it's like the 3rd day usually, is you're at your park and you do a tour of the park. And so your trainer, your facilitator, goes through and tells you about all the different aspects of the park you should know. So you have to learn like the names, where the nearest restrooms are, as well as like a ton of fun facts. So I'm sure someone who has gone through, I think for there it's called like Once Upon a Time. Yes, anyone who has gone through that. So if like you work in Magic Kingdom, that's one of your first days, they would probably know that, because I feel like that's something that they would point out. So I can't confirm that, but I know that's definitely something that people say.
Down to extinction. Those who've experienced the time-traveling spectacle of Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom say it is quite the ride. The track it runs along might even seem familiar, as it's the same one that the Indiana Jones ride rides on. The Animal Kingdom.
Okay, is that true though? I mean, I'm gonna look that up too and say if that's real. I'm gonna ask Trista about that as well. But, cause I feel like the dinosaur ride feels so much different than Indiana Jones. Don't tell her I said this, but I do like Indiana Jones better. I get kind of like not seasick, but like motion sick on Dinosaur. Just the car feels more like flimsy, I guess, and like a different shape than like the Indiana Jones Jeep. Maybe it's the exact same and it's just because I haven't ridden them. Like the last time I rode Indiana Jones was several years before I rode Dinosaur, and I've ridden that a lot more since. I don't know if that's true, but I do know that people always say when they're describing Dinosaur to a Disneyland person, they say, oh, it's just like Indiana Jones. So you go there with all these expectations that dinosaur is gonna be like Indiana Jones, and then you are thoroughly let down and you're like, that was nothing like Indiana Jones. Not that it's like bad, but it's one of those things where it's like, why did you put that in my brain? Because now I had the expectation when like, okay, I could see how it's like similar in that you're in like a Jeep style car and it's rocky, but it's not the same. It's not the same as Indiana Jones, and I wish that had not been described to me that way, because I feel like I would have enjoyed Dinosaur much more had I just like gone through it appreciating it as Dinosaur and not the entire time comparing it to Indiana Jones.
It has been known to be quite intense. So for those of you who have seen it before, it might even surprise you to know that it used to be much scarier. Back when it was the original countdown to extinction, everything was apparently much more frightening. So everything from the motion of the ride, visuals, and soundtrack needed to be changed. 8. Handing over the deed. One of the more cute things on this list has to do with the changing of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride being changed to the newer Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh in 1998 at Disney World. A painting within the attraction's build Toad handing over the deed to Mr. Owl, and even greeting Pooh Bear a farewell in a different painting. Apparently, there was a lot of protest when it came to the closing of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which is probably why the park felt the need to implement the paintings.
But that's cool that there's like a painting where it's like, here's the deed to my attraction.
And recycling decorations. Even a place as major as Disney needs to save money on things like props too, which accounts for why the spiders and monkeys present at the Jungle Cruise in Disney World came from other rides. Something like a Jungle Cruise requires lots of exotic animals, and if you already have some at your disposal, say spiders from Haunted Mansion and monkeys from Living on the Land attraction at Epcot, why wouldn't you use them? Even the loincloth worn by Trader Sam was used from the same material on the Jungle Cruise boat. 6.
I mean, I can't confirm that either because I have not worked Jungle Cruise, so if you've been a skipper, if you want to let me know down below if that is true or not. I mean, it makes sense to me that like you would use things that you already had, but I don't know.
Never blending realities. Walt Disney made sure that in the design of
This is true.
Magic Kingdom, you would not be able to see the other lands. For instance, if you stroll
Okay, this is actually a picture of Disneyland, but
around Fantasyland, a barricade of trees would prevent you from seeing the nearby
That's
Liberty
also
Square.
Disneyland.
This is to keep the reality and mood specific to the land.
This
you're
is
in,
also
which makes for a
Disneyland.
more memorable experience. So much so that not only do they hide the lands from each other,
It's also
cast members
Disneyland.
of one land are not allowed to cross into a different land.
okay, they specifically said that this fact was about Disney World, and every shot they've used so far has been Disneyland photos. Like most of this, they've been using Disney World stuff the entire time, and now that it's actually a fact strictly about Disney World. Anyway, that's just funny. But that is true. So basically, the lands, and I've mentioned this before with like costumes and stuff, I believe, like every land has a specific theme to it. So everything down to the trash cans are different in every land. And yeah, you're not supposed to be able to see another land where you're from. Obviously when you're like morphing through the two, but it like usually makes sense in the way that it's morphed. But anyway, so we also have a rule as cast members that in your costume, depending on what land you work in, you can't go walking through other lands because that would affect the illusion.
And in costume. 5. Always find a trash can. We discussed earlier that Disney parks do not sell gum so as to keep the park as clean as possible. Another variable that factors into the cleanliness of the establishments has to do with the spacing between the trash cans. Go ahead, count, make measurements. You'll find that no trash can sits more than 30 feet away from each other. So really, there's no excuse why you couldn't throw away that turkey leg into the trash can instead of just leaving it on a bed.
I've heard this before too. I don't remember if I've heard this because of like a legend says kind of thing, like just online on videos, or if I've heard it because they told us that in traditions and whatnot. But there are trash cans everywhere. So if you're holding on to something and you're like, oh, I can't wait for the nearest trash can, like you can probably see like 2 different ones from where you are at.
Bench or ledge. 4. The family of the day. It sounds kind of creepy, but let us explain. Every morning, Disney World picks one family to open the park for the morning. Early on, visitors get to witness the rope drop ceremony. complete with a family that gets to join Mickey Mouse. Early arrivers get to see the family arrive on a steam train and get to interact with their favorite characters. No one knows exactly how Disney handpicks these families. And to be able to get picked, families get encouraged to show up early, appear enthusiastic with their attitude and clothing, and even talk to the cast members. 3.
I have no idea. I've never been to Magic Kingdom that early before, except for working there. I have been at Magic Kingdom at like 6 a.m. before. I've had shifts where I've gone into work and it's been dark outside, and I've come out from work and it's been dark outside because it's literally been 13 hours since I went in. But anyway, they used to do like the morning shows, like they were mentioning, like up on the train's platform. I believe they either changed the choreography or they like took out that show altogether, and now they do a stage show in the mornings. So I can't confirm or deny if that fact is true. If you've worked there before and you know, you can let us down in the comments. This is definitely a crowdsourcing video. Let me know what information you know. But I do know that at places, for example, at Animal Kingdom, when I would work shifts there and I was hanging out with Mickey or Minnie, then Mickey or Minnie at the beginning of the day, both of them usually would stand outside Adventure Outpost in Animal Kingdom. Don't remember if I already said Animal Kingdom. But they would stand out there and wave as the families were coming in, and then the first family to come up, they would grab their hands, you know, skip them through the line, take them in, and do a meet and greet with them. So kind of just a fun, magical experience for being like the first one of the day to want to do that activity.
3. The color of Mickey Mouse's shorts. Of all the secrets Disney would have and does have, did you think one of them would include the exact hue of those famous 2-button shorts?
No.
You can buy most, if not all, articles of clothing with Mickey Mouse on it, but you can't even buy shorts this exact color since no one outside of Disney knows what the exact color is called. They keep it private and a matter not open to be disclosed to the public. 2.
What? That's so interesting. Wait, I feel like, so this is my Olivia the Pig doll. I don't know if you guys read these books when you were little. I feel like her red is Mickey Mouse pant red. I should know. So that's interesting. So I wonder if it's just like, it's not public knowledge that this is our exact like hue. I don't know if you guys have looked at like colors before online, like when you're trying to match color or make color, but every color has this like 6-digit code that makes like the exact shade, so that's how you can like keep things consistent. I don't know, that's really interesting though. I wouldn't be surprised if that was true.
Utilidor system. So if cast members aren't allowed to cross lands outside of their canon,
what kind of outfit is this? Oh, it's that Shanghai Disney. Okay, I was like, never seen this before.
To be an easier way besides just generally avoiding the area, you might have heard that Disney parks have a Utilidor system, a set of underground channels beneath the park that lets employees move about undetected and unaffected by the crowds above. Unsavory sites like taking out the trash are also taken care of in the Utilidors, a term derived from the words utility corridors.
Yep. So like I mentioned before, cast members, if you work in, you know, if you got this circus outfit going on, you can't like walk through Adventureland and all of that. So how we do it is backstage, or is the Utilidor system. So Magic Kingdom is actually on the 2nd floor, basically, and all underneath, cast members like little ants in tunnels running around to their spot. So yeah, it's freaking crazy. When you get off of West Clock, which is like, so there's, you know, the employee like parking lot where DCP buses and other buses drop you off to work, and then you have to like scan through and go through security to then get on the next bus, which then takes you to the front of the Utilidors at Magic Kingdom. And that is always just, it's that meme where you feel like you're in Night at the Museum 2 and everyone's got like this crazy outfit on and like none of it goes. So you've got people working Be Our Guest, the circus stuff, skippers, you've got people in sweats because they're performers, you've got people in business casual and Haunted Mansion gear, Liberty Square stuff next to someone who works in Tomorrowland. So it's quite crazy. It looks like a circus and it's like, wow, this is really freaky looking. But then when you see them all like in their actual setting, it totally makes sense. I never even noticed cast member costumes until I wanted to start working there. Like, I didn't even realize that was a thing when I had been to Disneyland. So yeah, so in order for guests to not have that same experience of like, whoa, this is really weird seeing all this at once, there are other avenues for people to get to where they need to go to not ruin the illusion that all the lands are separate.
Not real screams. You can find the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror at the Disney parks, an immensely popular attraction for park visitors. And though it really is a simple drop ride, people love to get scared. Interesting enough, the screams you hear on the ride might not always be from the people riding it with you. The tower has been known to use pre-recorded screams to heighten the atmosphere.
That's interesting if that is true, because I feel like I have read studies on enhancing emotional experiences, like shared experiences and stuff. It'd be really interesting if that was something they did. I don't know. But definitely when you're like outside of the ride and you hear people screaming, that is real guests on the ride screaming their heads off. Well, I thought that was a fantastic video. I am so pleasantly surprised, because if you guys have watched my other reaction videos where they talk about being a performer or being in entertainment, they are so off on so many things. So I'm really shocked that most of that stuff I was either like, yes, I can confirm that that is a thing, or can't confirm it, but that sounds right. So I thought that was a really good video. Thank you so much for suggesting it to me. If there are other videos that you would like me to react to, please put it on the comments in this video. I know people have been commenting on other videos and giving me links, but put them all on this video so I can go back to this video and have all the links in one spot. I'm also thinking about doing another Q&A, because the last one was 30 minutes long and there were a lot of questions I did not get to. So make sure to keep an eye out for a video telling you like, hey, doing a Q&A, send me questions. And then I will also put out that call on Instagram as well. So follow me on there if you would like to. You don't have to. I do not post a lot of Disney content anymore. So I post what's going on in my life at the moment. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Keep dreaming out loud, stay safe, and I will see you guys next time.